Well, hello, and welcome to the Tea with Tea. Today, I'm going to be talking about what it was like growing up in a narcissistic and manipulative household. I know, a heavy topic. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I feel like so many of us, especially within my generation, had parents that were narcissistic, abusive, manipulative. I could go on. So I feel like this is going to be a topic that a lot of people can relate to. I personally don't talk to either of my parents anymore. I don't have a relationship with either of them. And when I tell you that my life is much better without them, I promise you it is. So whenever I tell people that, they tend to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, you don't have your parents, blah, blah, whatever. And I'm like, you don't need to be sorry. It's like losing a bad ex, honestly. I look at it the same way. Most people are like, oh, well, once they pass away, you're going to regret not having a relationship with them. I'm going to sound heartless when I say this, but they're already dead to me. They have proven over and over and over again that my life is only better without them. That anytime that they come into my life, I only become more insecure. I doubt myself more. I start to live my life differently when they are a part of it and not for the better. It is always for the better when they are not a part of my life. So just like when people get divorced and they know it's for the better, which I have been divorced and I know it was for the better. And so I don't appreciate when people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. No, congratulate me. Congratulate me for exiting a relationship that was not benefiting me in any way. So for anyone else out there who doesn't have a relationship with their parents, good on you for removing toxic people from your life. Because just because they're your parents doesn't mean that you are required to keep them in your life. Just because their blood is running through your veins and your mother is the one that gave birth to you does not mean you are required to keep her or either of them in your life for that reason alone. And I feel like so many people think that that's the case. Oh, because these people gave birth to me, created me, I must keep them in my life. No. If they're only negatively influencing you in your life, limiting you or encouraging you to limit yourself, then why keep them around? I'm not going to keep anyone in my life that holds me back or encourages me to hold myself back. Influences these negative mindsets of I'm not good enough, I never do enough, I'll never be enough, I'll never have enough, whatever. All these limiting beliefs, all they did was enforce those. And I don't need that. Nobody needs that. So if your parents are like that, and of course if you're old enough to live on your own, then feel free to cut them off. You are not obligated to keep your parents in your life. And for me, I mostly grew up around my mother. My father was very absent and he didn't make an effort to have a relationship with me. And he tried to say, oh, well, I didn't want you to feel forced to have a relationship with me. I wanted you to come to me. You're the parent in this situation. So you should have tried to have a relationship with me. You shouldn't have made it my responsibility as the child to have a relationship with my own father. Just my opinion. Everyone's gonna have their own opinions. But that's the way that it was. And so I grew up not really knowing him. My parents got divorced when I was 7, I was just turning 7 when they separated. And my dad already wasn't around much because he was the breadwinner. He was the one bringing in the money, supporting us. So I didn't really know him before the divorce. And then after the divorce, I didn't really know him still because not only was he still working a lot, but he didn't make that effort to have a relationship with me. So I was unable to get to know him on a deeper level or as even just as my father. So that one is a lot easier to release and let go of. And throughout my life, there have been multiple times where I've been in contact with him and tried to have a relationship with him, and he's helped me financially, which I'm thankful for. But generally speaking, my life is never better when he's a part of it. All these negative mindsets come up, the way that he talks, the way that he carries himself, all that is just like, I don't need that in my life. Like, you do you live your life. I don't wish ill upon you or either of my parents. I just don't want anything to do with them. You go live your life however you see fit. That's none of my business, however you live your life. And it's none of your business how I live my life. And that's the thing, is my mother still feels entitled to know about my life. And because all of my socials are public, obviously she can see whatever she wants. But I don't care. Go ahead. See the person that I became not having you or my father in my life. I'm thriving. No, I'm not where I want to be. I'm still on my journey to creating my ultimate dream life. But compared to where I was, especially when they were in my life, I am thriving. Could not be in a better situation compared to what I was in. But I'm always trying to grow and do better and find better. My goal is to always continuously grow. So no, I'm not going to settle where I'm at and just be happy with what I have. I'm always going to thrive for more. But with the influence of my parents, I never would have had that mindset. And growing up with my mother, as I said, I knew my mother more. It was always about her, about what she needed, about her opinions, what she thought I should think. Even like there were multiple times where she would tell me that what I was thinking was wrong. I would try to confide in her and express myself, what I was feeling, and she'd be like, "Why are you feeling like that? That's wrong. You're stupid for feeling like that." Okay, cool. Everything was always about her. So whatever I expressed to her, let's say it was a situation about something going on with a friend at school, somehow it would come back around to be about her. Like it was, yeah. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this because I feel like my generation's parents, because of the way that their parents raised them, ended up being very narcissistic, ended up gaslighting their kids. I mean, literally forcing us to think that nothing was wrong with us, even though doctors were saying that there was something wrong with us. Oh no, our kids are fine. They don't need help. They don't need medication. They don't need therapy. They're fine. Literally gaslighting us into thinking we're okay when we really actually could use some help. Oh no, I can give my kids everything. They don't need anything from anyone else because I can give my kids everything. It's like almost like a pride thing. It comes from being prideful, believing that you can provide everything even when you can't. And it's a very toxic environment for a kid to grow up in. And not only was it the narcissism, but it was the lack of care. The having to take care of myself since I was 9 years old. Learning how to cook and clean and do everything at 9 years old. Because after the divorce, both my parents were working all the time. So I was literally taking care of myself, doing everything on my own, getting myself to and from school. All of this, though, made me who I am today. Growing up in a environment where I was constantly being told that what I was thinking and feeling was wrong, and that I was never doing good enough, and that honestly, talking about this is making me sick to my stomach. And I don't even really want to talk about it anymore. And that's why I said I was going to keep it pretty short. But I feel like sharing these kinds of things is what is going to build trust with my community. The community that I'm building here online with like-minded people. And I want you to know that like I've been through shit. Just like all of you. And so when I make videos about being happy and doing things anyways and creating the life that you want, I want you to know that this comes from someone who's been through shit, who has been through hell, honestly. Like this doesn't even scratch the surface. And I've talked about other things that I've been through in other videos. I've even talked about my parents in other videos. And I know that the whole premise of this video was to talk about what it was like growing up in a narcissistic and manipulative household. But I feel like I can't even let myself get into it because allowing that negativity to even still linger now, even just trying to communicate it with people that I care about, my community, just feels wrong. I understand that both my parents did the best that they could with what they thought they knew at the time, but their lack of evolution, their lack of effort to become a better version of themselves is what makes me keep them out of my life. And despite how they treated me, despite how, you know, my mother manipulated me to believe that her thoughts were mine, like I didn't have my own thoughts, where she would say certain things and do certain things to make certain situations seem a certain way to where it would be like, oh, well, this is what I want. As in her, she would think this is what I want. So what can I say or do to make Taryn think that this is what she wants? Even with my own father, shortly after they separated, she literally told me, you love your father, but you don't like him. Okay, no, mom, that's how you felt. That wasn't how I felt, and you just projected that onto me. And continued to do that throughout my entire childhood, was project your own feelings onto me. I was your little mini me. No, I wasn't. I was a little kid who had no power to decide for themselves that this is not what they believe because I trusted you. As a child, we're taught that our parents are supposed to be the ones that we trust the most, the ones that guide us through life in order to have the best life that we possibly can, right? So as a child, I looked up to my mother, thinking that she was going to guide me where I needed to go in order to have a good life, when in actuality, she was guiding me straight down to rock bottom where she was and couldn't seem to get herself out of and still can't. I'm just glad that I had the realization enough to see who she really is and that she was only trying to drag me down with her. She wanted me to be just like her and called me her mini-me because she didn't want me to be better than her. And I felt that in my day-to-day life as a child too. Anytime I lost weight, because I've been big since I was a kid, since I was like 6 years old is when I really started to gain weight. If I lost weight, if I had people interested in me, especially men, it was like a competition. It was honestly disgusting. And it was like she would say things and do things to make me feel shitty about myself. Like I remember I lost weight in middle school and I wanted to wear a skirt to school and she completely shamed me. Just because you've lost a little bit of weight doesn't mean that you can wear things like that. It fit me. It was school appropriate. It was like past the knee or whatever, which was what you were, at the time, that was the rules of school. Your skirts and shorts and stuff had to be knee length or longer. And it fit me just fine. It looked great on me. And she completely shamed me and would not let me wear it to school. And I still remember to this day rolling up to school in a pair of jeans, still bawling my eyes out because of how she made me feel, how she was completely shaming me, to the point where my vice principal saw me come into the school in this distressed state, just continue bawling my eyes out. My mom let me get out of the car like that and go into school like that. And my vice principal took me into her office and comforted me. I told her the whole situation. She comforted me. I don't even remember exactly what she told me, but told me and something enough to calm me down to feel better about myself. But the fact that I still remember that situation as a almost 30-year-old adult, still remember this, is insane. But that just shows you how much things from your past stick with you, and how the narcissistic or manipulative or shaming behavior of your parents can stick with you throughout your entire life, and it will affect the way that you live your life if you don't let it go. Now, I worked through that situation a long time ago. That was actually probably one of the first things that I told my therapist about, because it's something that has always stuck with me. And it really just comes from my mom's own insecurities. The fact that she couldn't wear something like that. The fact that she couldn't do enough within herself to lose the weight that she wanted to lose, to look the way that she wanted to look. And so she took it out on me. And essentially my whole childhood was her taking out her own insecurities on me. Her self-reflecting onto me, trying to make me just like her, when in actuality I'm nothing like her. Like, yeah, of course I have features that look like her because she fucking birthed me. I'm same with my dad. I have features that look like him. Yes, there are certain traits about me that are similar to my parents, but that's just genetics. But overall, I'm nothing like them. I'm nothing like them. And that is one thing that I am so extremely proud of myself for. Like, I will never be more proud of myself for anything besides the fact of not turning out like my parents. Anyways, I know I didn't probably keep on topic too much. But like I said, it just didn't feel right to really get into this too much, because it's like, why am I giving this topic power? Why am I allowing these things that I've worked through to still get my energy? And it is because I want to communicate with my community. I want you guys to know that I've been through things that maybe you all are experiencing as well. I've gained my knowledge through the things that I've been through, by reflecting, by actually talking to my therapist, and continuously, even on my own, meditating on certain things that I've been through with my parents, with my exes, with whoever. This is how you learn how to live your life in the present moment, is reflecting on things, realizing how they affected you and how they could not affect you in the future, how you could react differently, how you could interpret things differently to where it's a fuel to your fire instead of something that dims your flame. You have to learn how to alchemize energy. So all this negative energy that built up from my childhood, even into my teenage years and my early adulthood, and even into like 3 years ago, all this built up negative energy, I'm learning how to alchemize it into positive energy in order to catapult me into the life that I deserve, into the life that I'm creating and manifesting and dreaming of every day. And you all can do it too. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I hope that something I said resonated with someone. But either way, I'm kind of doing this for me. Talking about all of this really helps me. And even though I want to connect with you all, I want to connect with my community that I'm building, a lot of this is for me, because I was so afraid to feel seen for so long and to express who I truly am to the world. But here I am doing it. So anyways, I love you, love yourself, and let's grow together.